Okay. All right. Well, we are now joined by Noah Gragson in advance of this weekend's race at his hometown or home track, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So we're going to get right into questions for you, Noah. If you have one, please raise your hand, and we're going to kick it off with Jenna Fryer. Go ahead, Jenna.
Hey, Noah, I have two questions. My first one is from Bob Pockris, who's on a plane right now and texted me a question to ask you. He said, at the start of the season, you said you needed to be yourself and who you are. So do you change anything for the next time you are in this position, either the way you race, when you have a big lead, and or what you say afterward?
No, I think that's a great question. I think that's kind of the $1 million question right now is people want to know what I would do differently. And I talked to the Pete Bastoni and the bagman a couple days ago on Sirius XM and a couple other guys, and I don't know if I would do anything different. I don't think I would. So I think the most important thing for me is to stay true to myself. I think it's to not really change, because I went through a little process last year where I wasn't really myself. People tried to slow me down, and it didn't really work for me. So I think for myself personally, it's just about staying true to myself. And if I'm in that position again, I don't think I'm going to do anything different. I spoke what was on my mind. I think guys who are actually on the racetrack, who are driving the cars, they kind of know some of the similar battles that I'm going through and the scenario that I'm in. So as long as the guys who are in my same position, I've talked to a couple of them, Larson, Bowman, Reddick, guys who I work out with. And for me, they're like, I don't know what you could have done differently in the actual car behind the wheel. So that's refreshing to know. And then after the race, I don't think I would do anything differently as well. I'm going to stay true to myself. People
What do you mean?
about me, and that's my job, is to get people talking about me, and it's going good right now.
What do you mean it slowed you down last year?
Well, they told me that I need to be a lot less aggressive. I need to be more patient, and they said Dale specifically, I sat down with him, and he was probably the most key guy. And he's like, I don't want you to lose any speed over it, but you needed me less aggressive and more patient. And we had a good conversation, and I tried to do what he said, but I slowed down. I didn't have the speed, and I finally got into the playoffs, and I'm like, screw that. I'm going to go out there and race as hard as I can and be comfortable myself and race the way I know how to. And we had really good results. So, yeah, it's just one of those deals where there's a lot of opinions, but if I can be comfortable myself, it's the best way possible for me.
And then my question is, Mike Joy tweeted something yesterday. It seemed like it was about you. I think you thought the same thing. What do you think the issue is here? Is it the words that you're saying? You're after when you're not on the track? Is it that, or are you not sure?
I don't have an issue with Mike Joy. Everyone has their own opinion, and I'm fine with that. I have my own opinion too. So I don't have a problem with what Mike tweeted. But if people are talking about me, then I'm doing my job. I'm doing a good job. So Darrell Waltrip once said, if they're talking about you, good or bad, they're still talking about you. So, it's there's people who like me. There's people who hate me. You're going to have that. And does it bother me? Not a bit.
Thank you, Noah.
Thank you, Jenna.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Jeff Gluck. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Noah. Sort of along the same topic of the reaction you've been getting on Twitter and stuff. And I hear you just say, it doesn't bother you, but nobody can have like that thick of skin. I would feel like, surely you have to be stung by some of the comments you see in a way. So when you scroll through your timeline, you see stuff like that, like, how do you feel? I mean, are you able to just brush it off as easily as you say here? Like, what happens when you see that kind of stuff?
When I see I've heard it all. Excuse me, sorry. I've heard it all. Probably the worst stuff you could hear on Twitter, based off of just personal experiences in my life over the past couple of years. So stuff that happens on the racetrack doesn't bother me a bit. And for myself personally, it's not that I'm mad or it gets under my skin what people say. It's me trying to educate them of what it's like to be behind the wheel of the race car, and me trying to educate and inform them my side of the story. So I think that might be where the communication gets a little disruptive, or it gets misunderstood, is the fact that I am just trying to explain to some of the ignorance or the uneducated comments on there that, hey, why don't you go to the bottom? Well, we're saving fuel. It's like going up to a stoplight. If you're going to go up to a stoplight and speed up to a red light and then come to a complete stop and reaccelerate, that's going to waste more gas than just cruising at 500 of the speed limit and catch the light when it goes green again and not have to slow down. That's why I run the top. Stuff like that. It's just trying to educate people, and it seems like it's almost impossible to educate the uneducated.
So why try, I guess? I mean, do you feel like it seems like you're fighting a losing battle every time you're tweeting something then, like about, oh, the tire cord, and then, the comments you get back are just, it seems like you're not getting through to them, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like racing. You have a lot of bad races. Why do we go back to the racetrack if we're 30th in points? You try and you try to win races, so I guess it's kind of the same battle, but you are right. It is a never winning battle. So there's almost no point to be honest with you. You just hope that one day you'll be able to be like, hey, I explained something, and now to change somebody's opinion factually, if that makes sense.
Got it. Thank you.
Not opinion based, factual based.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, we'll take our next question from Claire B. Lang. Go ahead, Claire.
Thank you.
Hello.
Claire, I think you remuted yourself.
Keep snapping back on. Okay. I was talking to Carl Long last night on the air, trying to get this all sorted out, and we had you on morning show. I know that. But the part that really upset them was that you felt and said that they didn't belong on the racetrack, and that, Carl said he'd been around for many, many, many years and put a lot into the sport and fought and scrapped for it. And that the part that made him mad was that you felt they didn't belong on the track. And that is the part, you didn't say anything about the driving. It was about that comment, I think, that set them off. And I wonder at your reaction to that, and if you stand by that, there are those that just don't even belong on the track, and that you would be the judge of that,
I disagree. I don't ever recall saying they shouldn't be in the sport. They shouldn't be here. I recall myself saying that they're in the way. And I understand, I'm good friends with small team owners, small team drivers, spotters, guys who are going through those experiences. I'm good friends with BJ McLeod, and I understand that the battles that him and his drivers and their teams are going through. But I don't recall saying they should not be in the sport. There are a few certain individuals where they make your life a living hell to be able to pass them, and are very unpredictable. And when David Starr came up in our hauler after the race, and that's what I was trying to explain to him. Listen, man, I'm not the only one who thinks you're one of the hardest guys to pass. I understand that they're racing and they're on track and they're running their own race, but it's like, man, when the leaders are coming, we would just like a little bit more respect. It's not just him though. It's the 44, the 48 guys like that. But on the flip side, there's guys who are on that side of the garage who are BJ McLeod. He's awesome. I love the guy. I'm his biggest fan. And he shows, I mean, you ask any guy on the racetrack, BJ McLeod shows the faster guys respect. And I understand the battles we're going through. I don't fault them for being in the position that they're in. And I appreciate their hard work, but I do not believe that they should not be in the sport. I believe that those guys are trying to make a living. They are race car drivers. Everybody should be allowed in the sport. And so I had never said that they shouldn't be here. We would just like a little bit more respect, because David Starr is very challenging and unpredictable to pass out there. And that's what I tried to tell him after the race.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Noah. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you, Claire.
All right, we'll take our next question from Jordan Bianchi. Go ahead, Jordan.
Hey, Noah, are you comfortable being cast seemingly as NASCAR's bad guy? Is it a role you're comfortable with? Is it something that you want?
I can't answer that. I'm not. I'm me, and I'm gonna continue to be me. But I can't speak for other people and make assumptions on myself or put labels on myself. I just can't do it. No different than, I don't think you could put labels on yourself. You could just do the best job you can do and believe in what you believe in, and other people's will make that decision for you.
Does the criticism fuel you or anything?
I love it. I love every second of it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next one from Alex Andrea. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Noah. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm on a different device. I'm curious just where do you sort of go from here racing wise? I mean, do you stay as aggressive on the track with how it's worked out and sort of being where you are in points right now? What have those conversations within your team been like?
We kind of joke around and say we need to slow down because we've almost been going too fast at some of these races, and it's hurt us because we're in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm not really a big believer in luck. In my opinion, it is what it is, and everything happens for a reason. But Daytona in the duel, we got caught up in somebody else's mess. The Daytona Xfinity race, everyone's pitting coming to pit road. The 74 ass packs us. We're at the road course at Daytona. Get back on the lead lap after having ignition issues 3 laps down. Go 31st to 13th on the second to last restart, 13th to 7th on the final restart, coming off of turn 3, get hooked. I tried to take accountability as much as I can, but I don't know what else I could do in the situations. I know everyone has their opinions. Oh, well, if you do that and that, obviously we can always be better. But for myself personally, I'm not going to change anything. Why change anything if nothing's wrong? It's just circumstances that put you in there. But we've had speed. We've been fast. We've led laps. What are you going to do,
And then how are you feeling about, returning to Vegas, going to Vegas, your hometown track? What's the kind of outlook for that this weekend?
I'm excited to be back in my hometown and then be around with friends and family and be able just to be back home and it's just comfortable. It's fun. I enjoy Las Vegas. Go back to my favorite restaurants, my favorite places to go hang out, stuff like that. So with the race being here in Vegas and being so close to winning last weekend, it's in all the haters on Twitter, it's fuel for the fire. And I enjoy every bit of it. it's more motivation for me to go out there and our team to win the race this weekend. And I really strongly believe that we can do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, we'll take our next question from Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Hey, Noah, you brought up Dale earlier, and he said on the podcast, his podcast this week, he was going to talk to you about last weekend. I was wondering if he did, and what advice did he give you?
We played phone tag a little bit on, I guess it was Monday night. I called him on the way to jiu-jitsu, and then he said he'll call me back, but he didn't call me till the next night after I got done with jiu-jitsu. So we just played a little phone tag there, but never really hit on the conversation about any on-track stuff. We were more talking about Xbox and PC games and stuff. So and just how I'm doing. And I'm really enjoying being around. I was telling him I'm really enjoying being around Josh Berry. He's a great addition to our team, and I know he's super close with Dale. So we were talking about Josh, and Josh and I have been working out together throughout the week and everything. So growing that relationship and whatnot. So it really had nothing to do with on-track stuff. I think if we would have got a hold of each other on Monday, it would have been more about the past weekend, but we didn't go into that when we talked on Tuesday.
Thanks, Noah.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll take our next question from Matt Weaver. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Noah, appreciate you taking some time today. My question for you, man, is you say, I love it. I love every second of it, talking about the wearing the black hat. I'm curious, is that sustainable? Like, is that something that you can continue to wear on you as you try to grow your career and take it to the next level without it basically, eating you alive?
Well, I feel like I'm either a loved or hated guy. There's no in between. And I think Iceberg said it best in his videos. You're not going to be able to have a middle ground. It's one of those things where I feel like people who might not like me have never met me. And the people that I've met in person have talked to and spent 20, 30 minutes at the racetrack talking to. I think that goes a long way with them and creates a fan out of them. So I mean, my biggest focus is to be a race car driver and to get people talking about me. And I talked to Eric Epps about it Sunday, and just about my strategies off the racetrack and how I get people talking about me. And we agreed on some stuff, and I'm a big supporter of his. So and I'm proud of the way that he is growing his brand. So I think brand recognition is everything, and growing your brand as a race car driver, having that support and following. And companies really look at your social media stuff, and mine went up 58.4% this week just on Instagram alone. So that's pretty big for us. Got a lot of people talking, good and bad, and that just gets my name out there even more. So I'm going to stick to what I'm doing and stay close to the people around me and lean on them for advice. But I don't see a reason to change.
A follow-up on that, how do you prevent it from becoming a distraction on Saturdays when you take the green flag?
I don't feel like it is a distraction. When I put the helmet on, I'm ready to go. We have a great team. I mean, these guys are like brothers to myself and family. So a few years ago, or with a different team, I didn't really feel comfortable with myself, where now I know that I have my team's full support. They have my full support, and we're there at the racetrack together. We work late nights, early mornings, and we're all in it together. So with that being said, when I get to the racetrack and I'm with those guys, I am every bit as confident as I've ever been. So then when I put the helmet on, I'm ultra confident. So I don't see a way you can lose when you're comfortable.
Thanks, Noah.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, Noah. Well, that's all we've got time for. Thank you for sticking around with us for a little extra long. If you didn't get to the question, I apologize. But Noah, we wish you the best of luck this weekend at your home track, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everything you guys do for the sport, and hope you're staying safe, and see you soon. See you guys. Thank you.